In today's lesson, we are going to find the exact values of the trigonometric functions of pi over 6, which is the same as 30 degrees, and pi over 3, which is the same as 60 degrees. Okay, so let's start by drawing a unit circle. And let's have our radius there. This radius, I want you to take note, it is of the length 1. And let's have our right angled right there. And from this side here up to there, let's label it as A. And from this side, let's label this B. And let's start with, let's label down here, let's label this 60 degrees. Okay. Now, what does this mean here? It means that in this unit circle, remember we are using a unit circle now. We have the coordinate at this point. We have got the coordinate A and the coordinate B. So our goal is to find A and B. So if we have to draw, we take out this triangle and let's just draw it somewhere here outside here. Same triangle, taking it down, draw it somewhere there. And we have 90 degrees there. We have our 60 degrees. And here we'll have 30 degrees. Okay. Now let's draw the congruent of the same triangle on this side. That's not really, doesn't look like a congruent, does it? Okay, that looks much better. And we have got 60 degrees, and we have also 30 degrees on the other side. $30 on the other side. Okay, so we know the side it's 1 and this side it's 1, and we know that here it's A and there it's A. Now, given that this it's 60, meaning that, let's draw this triangle so you see it clearly somewhere there. Then we have got 30 plus 30, this gives us 60 degrees. And we have got 60 degrees and 60 degrees. This is equilateral triangle, which means all the sides are equal. That means that this side up to this side is also 1. So making our A plus A to be equals to 1. So we are going to find this coordinates of A and B, and we are going to use this to find our trigonometric functions when the angle is 30 degrees and 60 degrees. A plus A, it is equals to 1. Now we have got 2A to be equal to 1, and then now we can find a to be 1 over 2. Now we found a to be 1 over 2. Our next step is to find b. Okay, now let's call this side C. Okay, let's call this side C, which is equals to 1. Okay, so this side is just C equals to 1. So I'm going to remove this. Now, if we focus only on the right triangle, we know that a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared by Pythagorean theorem. So we know what a is. A is 1 over, okay, let me don't even go there. Let me take a to the other side. And because we are looking for b, then we have got a squared. So c, it's 1 squared minus a, it's 1 over 2 squared. Then 1 minus 1 over 4. This will give us 3 over 4. So we have b squared equals to 3 over 4. One thing that we need to remember is that b, it is positive. So we will have, we'll ignore the negative, and then we focus only on the positive values of b because it's the distance, it's the length. Then the answer will be the square root of 3 will be a square root of 3. However, the square root of 4 is 2. So now we know what b is. We know that b is square root of 3 over 2. And now I can quickly summarize my right triangle here in this way. And I will label everything. Here we have got 60 degrees. This is 90 degrees. This is 30 degrees. Here we have got 1. On this side of b, we have got square root of 3 over 2. And down here, we have 1 over 2. So now, I want us to find sine. We are going to use SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. I want us to find trigonometric functions. Let's start with sine 60 degrees. Okay, sine 60 degrees. So sine 60 degrees, it will be equals to the opposite over hypotenuse. In this case, it is, we're looking at the opposite over hypotenuse. In this case, it's going to be the square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1, which will be simply the square root of 3 over 2. Cos 60 degrees will be our adjacent, which is this 1 over 2 here. 1 over 2 divided by our 1 there, which is hypotenuse. Then we have 1 over 2 divided by 1 is simply 1 over 2. Okay, now we need to clear, we need some spaces here, so we need to clear some spaces this side so we can continue with our tan. So we don't need this anymore. Okay, so let's delete that. Let's delete all this that we don't need. Okay, now we have this on this side. Let me quickly draw another line here, which we will use in a moment. Divide our work. So now here we have tan 60 degrees. It is equals to our opposite, which is this one, divided by our hypotenuse, which is that one. So it is the square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1 over 2. Now this will be the same as the square root of 3, the 2 times square root of 3, 2 square root of 3 over 2, which is the same as simply square root of 3, because the 2's cancels out. Okay, now how do we find the reciprocals of this? So I think this line here, I will need to shift it somewhere a little bit further. And okay, now let's find the reciprocals of these trigonometric functions with 60 degrees. Now for sine 60 degrees, we have got CSC 60 degrees, which is equals to 2 over square root of 3. Now let's find the reciprocal of cos 60. This will be sec 60 degrees, which will be equals to 2 over 1, which is just 2. And reciprocal of tan 60, it is cot 60 degrees, and that is 1 over the square root of 3. Okay, now we have found the trigonometric functions when the angle is 60 degrees, which is pi over 3. Now let's apply the same rules, finding the trigonometric functions when the angle is 30 degrees. So this side was 60 degrees, and I want us to find 30 degrees, which is pi over 6. So if you are dealing with the radians, you can just simply use pi over 6. You will get the same results. Okay, so let's start with, so Katua is there, and just have it here in case you might need to use it. In this situation, we won't need to use that, but always have it to be on the safe side. Now let's start with sine 30 degrees. Sine 30 degrees is equals to opposite over adjacent. Now the opposite of this triangle, we're using this triangle, okay? Here it is half, the hypotenuse is 1 there. So now let's have that written. It will have half, which is an opposite, divided by 1, and that gives us half. Okay, and let's have the cos 30 degrees, which is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. Here the adjacent here will be square root of 3 over 2. Hypotenuse is 1 divided by 1. This gives us the square root of 3 over 2. Now let us find tan 30 degrees, not 60, 30 degrees. This is going to be equals to the opposite, which is 1/2, divided by the adjacent, which is the square root of 3/2. And let's write this in this way. We simplify this. It's gonna be 2 over the square root of 3, and this will equals to the 2 will cancel the other 2, and we have got 1 over the square root of 3. Okay, so now to find the reciprocals of this trigonometric functions when the angle is 30, what I can do here, let's delete all this. We don't need this anymore. We don't need all this. So now let's get the reciprocals of this. Now the reciprocal of sine 30 degrees, let me use red color. It is CSC 30 degrees. That will be 2/1, which is 2. And the one for cos, it is sec. Sec 30 degrees. It is 2 over the square root of 3. And the last one is cot 30 degrees, which equals to the square root of 3. Okay, that's all we have to do to find the exact values of the trigonometric functions for the angles 30 degrees and 60 degrees. Thank you for watching.